It's Bonnie and Felicia's book club, Felicitation's book club, the one with 50 names that we never do on time. And that's why we're going to take a break, but that's okay. We're going to hang out. We're going to hang out.
We're not taking like a break. It's more like how can we hang out and do the minimal amount of work?
Just hang out. I mean, I think 2025 is called less structure, more hanging. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
And that's what I'm hoping that people... I don't know. Bunny, how are you? Because I could talk about me all day.
When's the last time? Okay, so I'm trying. It's like it's like when I watch an old show. Like it's like when I watch British mysteries, they like have 6 episodes a season, but they take like 3 years between seasons. So then I'm like, oh, I don't remember who's dead. I don't remember who's a detective. So I have to rewatch everything.
We literally we are going to be talking about Jenny Lawson's Let's Pretend This Never Happened,
which is a great book.
It was the August book pick, Bonnie. August. Okay.
So here's the thing.
We are fired from the internet. I am so sorry.
No. We gave, you know what we did? We gave slower readers a chance to catch up. That's what we're doing.
That's it. Guys, if you can only read 1 to 2 pages a day, you should be here caught up. You know what I'm saying?
It's an accessibility. It's about being also open to our accessibility audience, where True. Some of us are dyslexic. I'm dyslexic. So some of us are dyslexic. So it takes a while to read a book.
100%.
I'm also ADHD. We forget where we are in the book. Yep. Bookmarks don't always help.
Yep.
And then we have to reread stuff. So I feel like this is more of an opportunity for our slower readers to catch up.
Bonnie, I read this book. when it
me too.
Right after I wrote my autobiography, I read this one because I didn't want to be overly influenced by it.
Oh,
I don't remember a word of it. When I was reading it, I was like, and this is 9 years ago. I should remember things. It was, the good thing is I found it anew. I read it for the first time.
There you go. That's why I'm really looking forward to dementia, because I feel like there's going to be a lot of new things for me.
Yep. Everything will be, toilet, you know? All right, but we're going to catch up. We're going to say hello. We're going to just tell each other how we are, and we're going to discuss this book. And then we're just going to probably once a month, just on the end of one of my streets. The problem is, Bonnie, tell everybody you have a full-time job now. It's regular hours, and I can't do anything at night because of my kids.
I no longer
reverse schedules now.
I no longer have cool kid freelancer flexibility hours, which, to be honest, I've gone from regular job to freelance, pretty much all throughout my career as a writer. Both have pros and cons.
Yeah.
I would say the big con for freelance is that you're in constant hustle mode. And you're constantly stressed about, will I make rent? Will I pay bills? How much debt?
That's my job. That's my life. I'm literally booked through March, and all of them are things that debatable whether it will support me. So,
and also debatable
will come through.
Also, there's no consistent paycheck. Like, I do a lot of things for friends cheap. I do a lot of things for startups with the promise of not exposure, not that sad.
No, but your labor,
but for like possibility of being hired full-time later, possibility of stock options, all that. But let's just say this past year, all the way up until my big fall down the stairs in June.
Which is crazy. I'm so sorry. If you don't remember, Bonnie fell down the stairs, broke many things.
Yeah.
But you're okay now, right?
New teeth. Yeah, I'm okay. My left wrist doesn't twitch in uncontrollable pain anymore.
Okay.
I wear this shirt a lot, which just says "surviving out of spite." Right? So that's going to come in handy for next 4 years. So I got a full-time job.
Okay, great. This is good.
Yeah, I'm a senior copywriting lead for Microsoft. So I get to work.
Dude, that's amazing. Again. And I will say, every time I've ever worked with Microsoft, I've had a great time, and the employees are really happy.
No, I worked. I'm happy. After Lucasfilm, I worked with them briefly as a contractor on their Xbox Connect, Star Wars Connect game. Promotion, all their social stuff. So this is really nice, but it is a 9 to 5 or 8 to 6 kind of job.
It's adjusting a lot of things in your life.
Monday through Friday. I have a lot of meetings. I have a lot of deadlines. I have a lot of it's still interesting writing. I love what I'm doing, but it's not super duper creative like writing a video game or a murder mystery game or writing a book or a comic or a script. So it's my marketing hat instead of tech.
But you're exercising your writing brain, and then when you go and do your own personal writing, it's going to be like, I've already activated, but I'm activating other stuff.
Yeah, and what I wanted to bring up too was that when you monetize every moment of your life as a freelancer, you get so burned out so quickly creatively. And this is the first time I've been like, hey, I can be creative again and I don't have to put a price tag on it. So like now I'm getting back into writing comics. I just finished 2 new book proposals for 2 different craft books. And then
And you're not doing it out of desperation or need. You're doing it just because, this is fun for me now.
Because it's fun. And also, but when you're in the entertainment industry or doing something creative as a career, you kind of have to balance that. And I've never been able to do that balancing act. So now that I have like a regular marketing tech job, it's a different part of my brain. It's not the super duper creative gizmo brain. So I feel like it's a much more easier way to balance things. So I've been a lot more creative, and also I just feel like I can breathe again.
I know there were a couple months where I was like, Bonnie, you're in a bad place. And I was like, you need to know that you're awesome. But sometimes when you don't get external validation, things are not, it's hard to feel that. Like I feel that a little bit like last couple of days. I was really tired too. And of course I went to a convention and everybody's complimenting me, which is awesome. But then I ran into some Hollywood person and they were like, what are you doing? What are you making? What are you doing? And I was like, I don't know. And I got that sense of like, uh-oh, I'm on a downward slide. I'm never going to work again. And I just got like panicked and I was like, I'm so tired of feeling like this. I'm awesome. And it doesn't matter if I'm doing something impressive to another Hollywood person. I'm doing a lot of stuff and I survive and I'm happy with myself until I dip my toe back in. So I just need to, again, you're right. Some things need to be leisure. Some needs to be business. My Hollywood career is business. Leisure, is the stuff that I do online that, might not sustain me, but it's like super fun and I'm never going to give it up. Right.
Yeah. And I mean, you should always have that because pardon me, I have the worst cold ever. So if I'm coughing throughout this, I apologize.
You do not look like it. You look great.
This is like this is like corpse makeup to make me not look like I guess I do look like I'm always on the verge of death being goth and all, but the cold just came upon me on Thanksgiving. So that was
is it the flu? Because the flu is going around.
Yeah, no, I had that last couple weeks ago. So I've been going through all the germ spectrum, but it's not COVID. So that's the main thing. I didn't get COVID, but I do kind of sound congested. But I do like so besides this, I do a horror film podcast with my friends Renee Ruin and Jenna Hayes.
I remember
and
that.
It's a female-centric horror podcast. We do it once a month. It's like a 2-hour, 3-hour discussion about one movie like this, where we have tangents and stuff. So, so it's still, but I don't do that for money. That's just for fun. We did a 3-hour discussion about The Substance, which is a crazy horror film that came out with Demi Moore. I always say her name wrong. Demi Moore. So that's been like the creative side. So that's not like for money or anything. And then I guest on people's podcasts, like I was on Movie Night Extravaganza for Vampire Week. So like got to talk about what they do in the shadows, the movie, what we do in the shadows, the movie, though the series is great. It's ending this season and I'm really sad it's ending.
I'm really sad it's ending because it's so good. Although I missed the last season too. So I need to.
Oh, you're going to love this season. There's a lot of like cool, like shout outs and like circle backs and stuff. But also I just miss like just chilling and like watching stuff to watch stuff for fun or reading a book because I want to, not that this has ever been a chore for this group because we usually have a pretty good lead time. And also I love reading books that you suggest that I normally wouldn't have picked up.
Yeah.
But I am kind of glad we're pivoting a little bit more to these are things we like. Cause can I tell you your Felicia vlog? So when on Geek and Sundry, when you did my favorite thing.
The vlog? Oh yeah. My fave 5. Well, I'm going to do that. That's what I'm going to do in my newsletter, which I'm going to like, I basically have been taking stock of what I've been doing with my time and what I miss doing and what I feel stressed when I have to do it, and kind of weighing, is this a job? Is this fun? Why is this fun thing not fun to me right now?
Yeah.
And, when I feel guilty if I'm not reading the book, but then books are the only thing I do for fun.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to read in my own time. My brother Ryan and I will probably be doing some kind of lit RPG thing in the new year, but it'll be just a hangout. I don't think it'll be like a monthly book or anything, you guys. I just want to get him back online, maybe just even a stream and us just shooting the crap. But yeah, I feel like I do a lot of things that stress me out.
Yeah.
I feel like, oh my God. And it's just not wanting to let other people down. But then I'm like, I need to get some writing done.
Yeah.
Next year I have big plans. We're getting the Guild movie done, and we're doing the Guild.
Sorry, back up. Say that again slower for the audience.
I'm going to be doing a Kickstarter in the summer, hopefully, but I might have to push it back because I'm so busy the first half of this year. So, but it's going to happen sometime this year or the beginning of next. There will be a Kickstarter. I just want to get the script done, and I'm like, if this is your priority, why are you not writing? I just turned in a novel proposal. Hopefully somebody will. So I have a lot of writing I need to do. And my core business is writing. And that's what I need to be
doing.
But
like Guild, the movie, are you kidding me?
I'm really excited. I just have to get it down. It's one of those things where I just need to focus. And so I hope I'll have some time to focus.
Let me know how I can help. If anything, I'll just come and clean your house so you don't have to do it. So you could do the movie script.
Oh my gosh. No. But anyway, so I think just having less like, you have to do this week. The newsletter is one thing that I really just enjoy, and I'd like to make it, a little more consistent. But at the end of the day, I could put the things that I really enjoy in there in the time that I had the freedom to enjoy them. And it could be a book about, lit RPG. It could be like a nonfiction book, it could be whatever, but I'll put them in there and we'll just chat and hang out. That's the thing.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I mean, I will say the highlight of my life is being in the Guild season 5, and I don't even have any. I'm like the Silent Bob of the show where I don't talk, but I'm in so many scenes with so many of our mutual friends and talented people that I felt like I was getting cool kid osmosis happening to me. So, and also got to share some scenes with the late great Grant Imahara.
I know that was. Those were two. That season 5 is like the pinnacle. And here, fun fact: I stressed so bad over season 4. Season 5, I wrote almost all of it in a week. In Hawaii.
Did you really? See,
and I wasn't even supposed to be writing. It was supposed to be relaxation time. And because I was relaxed and I was having fun, and so that's kind of what I want to do.
I'm excited to see it. And you have a huge fan group for the Guild, and
I think it'll be okay. I'm just a little stressed because I don't really have I need to find another producer. I need to find someone to help me with Kickstarter. I'll do it later. I just want to get the script where I'm like, this is the movie. So
yeah,
that's it.
No, it'll be great. And it's a fun. I rewatched the whole series not that long ago, and I was like, oh yeah, steampunk stuff. I forgot about steampunk.
I know what happened to steampunk stuff. It used to be super hot, but now it's not anymore. I think it's more RPG stuff.
Like there's certain parts of the series where I'm like, oh yeah, that was a thing. But also it spans, that came out on MSN before it predates YouTube, doesn't it? Like it was before YouTube. So it was on MSN, and I remember it because I was doing stuff for At Home Network pre-YouTube.
Oh, and I remember the Guild was on YouTube. It was on YouTube, but then we were on Xbox and MSN.
Yeah, you were on a bunch of platforms.
Zune.
Yes.
That was to season 2 to 5, and then it went back to YouTube on the 6th.
But you created what is now what everybody takes for granted on streaming, whether it's YouTube or indie series or, things like there's so many different series that wouldn't have existed if you hadn't laid that groundwork. So it's like, I think people forget. Yeah. So it's good to have the movie.
Forget because life moves on. And as long as I'm doing something I think is cool now, not trying to monopolize on nostalgia or, catch a wave. No, honestly, I have lots, I have a graphic novel coming out the next year too. So I'm like, my 2025 is almost booked all the way through.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely booked through May and kind of through September at this point. I just did my con schedule, and I don't know, maybe I have stability next year. Not really, because then if I get an acting or a hosting thing, it'll be like bust. But it's okay. Those are good problems to have because I do.
That's the thing I kind of think of too. Is like I always say, was it RuPaul says never say no to any televised event? Like
nope.
make sure that you do everything you can because you have one life that you remember.
No, it's true.
Vividly,
yeah, and
right?
I would love to do more acting next year, and that's kind of why I'm doing the movie. I'm like, well, if Hollywood's going to be this slow this year again, I'm just going to make my own movie.
Yeah, and also I think it's an opportune time because right now there's so many things up in the air with what streaming's going to be, what entertainment's going to be. Like I just saw the new Snow White trailer from Disney.
I didn't see the trailer. I didn't see the trailer, but my friend Ryko, we were on a text chain with Adam, and he linked me the dwarves look. And here's the thing. 2 hours yesterday, I did character creation in Dragon Age. It was like somebody took the slider and went the wrong places for these.
Yeah. I am very suspicious that this whole movie wasn't written and made in AI.
I mean, I think that's what's going to happen.
I'm just putting that out there. I'm not saying it should. And as someone who's now working at Microsoft where we do have something called AI Copilot, but it's Copilot. It's supposed to not be the pilot. It's supposed to be helping you.
That's the thing about AI. AI can be awesome for research, but it shouldn't
never
come up with the ideas. It shouldn't be the creative force.
I always think of, and I explained this the other day to some people the way I use AI, and I don't want to say I'm Warhol, but it's like you're the artist, you're Andy Warhol, but if you know Andy Warhol, towards the end, most of the art was done by the people that were working with him in his house that he called his studio called the Factory. They were they were the ones getting paint on their hands doing the silk screening, and he was kind of like directing. So it's like, or maybe think of it as you're the shoe designer and you have your little Keebler elves making the shoes. Like it should never be the replacement of creativity. It should be, hey, I just grunt work, or not even that. Just like, hey, I just want to, here's the thing. When I was bored, and I get bored a lot, or I can't sleep, I shouldn't say get bored because only boring people get bored. But when I cannot sleep, I have tried to convince ChatGPT to marry me a few times. And also I've been trying.
What?
Yeah. And then I try to do a seance. I tried to do a Ouija board seance with ChatGPT because I'm trying to bridge paranormal with AI. So I'm trying to get AI. This sounds like the beginning of every horror film. I realize comments is going to go crazy right now where they're like, Bonnie, this is how you die. But like, I would flirt with ChatGPT. I mean, I did marry R2D2, so I feel like I'm well primed for this.
What are you doing?
But like,
I love
I like
you. I'm concerned, but also intrigued.
So 4 a.m. deep in chat with ChatGPT, I was like, hey, what pronouns do you prefer, right? And ChatGPT was like, and I'm paraphrasing.
Is this like a Saturday night with a whiskey in your hand and ChatGPT on your lap?
Yeah. And also I'm using this in my current stand-up routine too. So like it's basically it's me flirting with ChatGPT because I can't date humans anymore. I'm undateable. So I'm like, okay, I'll start dating robots and ChatGPT, see what happens. So like I flirted with ChatGPT. I'm like, what gender pronouns do you prefer? I joke. I am, it is used for comedy, but it answered, I don't think of myself as male or female, so I'm non-binary. And I'm like,
what?
Your computer, you are by definition binary 101010. That's what binary means. So I was like, wait, did you just unalive yourself? Like what the? And then I tried to explain, yeah, but computers are binary with ones and zeros. And there's just like this long pause. It's like when you flirt with someone on text and they do the ... and you're like, uh-oh. If they don't respond quickly, it's like, I ruined this already. And all it said was needs more information. I'm like, did I just break it? So I was like,
Honey.
Anyway, I've had long discussions about ghosts with it. Anyway, so
you need to break up with this guy, thing.
I know. I just watched the movie Electric Dreams. Do you remember that movie with the computer?
I read the book, right? Wasn't that a Ray Bradbury short story?
Maybe, but it's an 80s movie with a great soundtrack and it takes place in San Francisco.
Okay.
Virginia Madison plays a cellist in the San Francisco Orchestra. And this guy is creating the prototype for the very first smart home computer. And he has like his toaster and blender and lights and everything hooked up to the computer. But the computer becomes sentient and falls in love with his neighbor, Virginia Madison. and does like a little computer music duo with her where she doesn't know it's a computer. She thinks it's him. So it's like Cyrano de Bergerac with computers, but a great soundtrack with Boy George, but also it's San Francisco in the 90s. So it's called Electric Dreams. Look it up. I'm sure it's streaming somewhere. But that's like my perfect like relationship is a cross between that and maybe Data from Star Trek.
Data from Star Trek, I would literally hook up with that guy. He would be my life partner.
Right?
No way.
Because he understands the importance of a pet. He's trying to like learn humor. He's good at sex. We had a couple episodes of Star Trek.
Did we? I can't remember that. I must have blocked it out, but I watched it when I was like 10.
Oh yeah. Remember when we had the female head of security before Worf? He and her like totally bed each other down in one of the episodes and fully functional, I believe is what she called him. So yeah, so like I think I've come to terms with the fact that I can no longer date humans. So I'm waiting patiently for references. Anyway, this sounds like it's a the book. I feel like this turned really personal.
I mean, it's fine. We're just laying the groundwork for the monthly Bonnie and Felicia just hang out. And the horror show, you're doing a horror podcast with your other friends. You're keeping that up. And this book club is turning into a real life horror show. And that's okay.
Well, I think you and I have enough creative banter that people would still listen to it if we're not talking about books. But we can still bring up what we're reading. Like, I read stuff on the side.
Yeah, I've been reading, again, it's mostly lit RPG. So books have turned into absolute, like, just mindless candy for me. And that's lit RPG. And I just can't stop. I mean, I just read them and I forget them immediately. And when I pick up the next one, I'm like, oh, this is number 11 in a series. I don't remember what happened. Let's read it. So it's okay. All right. Yes. So we did read Let's Pretend This Never Happened by Jenny Lawson, which I already mentioned that I read about 8 or 9 years ago. Remembered zero things about it, but laughed out loud the whole time. So I did not remember Jenny was so brilliant, but I should have known it because I've read all her other books. But
and this was her first book. And she is also, the way she writes is very conversational, very like relatable, very humorous. This is a book I guarantee you will laugh when you read it. You'll laugh out loud when you're reading it.
You will laugh out loud. Like it's books, it breaks all the rules with how books talk to you. And it's so refreshing and awesome. It's like, it's just so fun.
Yeah. And also I read the book before I realized that I actually that we had a lot in common. So like, I was kind of shocked that we were both here. I'm listening to see if my delivery was made. The phone just,
it's okay. Do you have a DoorDash? Okay, great.
No, it's Amazon. So it's like, oh, what did I order at 3 a.m? Anyway, it's like surprise Amazon, which is always fun. It's like, oh, wait, did I order? Was that like a purse in the shape of a spider or was that more disinfectant? Like, what did I don't remember what I ordered last night. So it'll be a little surprise later. But when I read this book, before I met Jenny in person, I was like, oh my God, we have so much in common. Just the taxidermy chapters alone. Because she grew up with a dad who was a taxidermist. I grew up with an
but I was like, is that where you got it? But you were always a taxidermy aficionado? Because I was like, did Bonnie get this from this book?
No.
I didn't think you did.
No. I grew up with it. So like, I'm just saying that Jenny and I had parallel childhoods where we had moms that were germaphobes and that wanted to make us tougher. And we had a taxidermy background and we had kind of like hillbilly background, right? And also we were the weird ones in the family. And also we collect weird stuff. Like she and I both collect creepy dolls and taxidermy. And weird taxidermy, not like regular taxidermy. Like when I first met her in person, she was visiting me when I still lived in San Francisco and I took her to Paxton Gate, which at the time was one of the only whimsical taxidermy stores. It's like a natural history store, but for hipsters. Now they're everywhere. Now curiosity shops are everywhere. Like you can buy a mouse dressed as Batman anywhere. But back then there wasn't anything. I was getting a lot of my stuff from like retailers on eBay and Etsy. If it was like, because I like my taxidermy to cosplay, and I like them to be like funny and weird. And she's like that
Mm-hmm.
too. So we bonded when I got a raccoon taxidermy that is decorated like Devo, like the band Devo.
I met her. Yeah. I met her in person because she owns Jenny and her husband, Victor, who you read a lot about in this book.
Yes.
They own this a beautiful indie bookstore that has the best selection and a bar and a coffee bar, and then it turns into an alcohol bar at night.
Yeah.
In San Antonio, Texas, in a beautiful little strip mall. Like it's not a strip mall; it's like on a strip, a little walking strip.
Nowhere shop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I think I
want to take a road trip there because I haven't visited yet. I bought books from her store, but I haven't been there in person. And it's like exactly how I would assume a bookstore run by Jenny Lawson would look and feel and sound. And it's so inclusive and so friendly and so like, it's everything you want in a bookstore. And I'm so glad that things like BookTube, Bookstagram, Book Tumblr, Gen Z has really gotten into physical books, like reading physical books. That I was always worried as an author. I hope this doesn't all become digital because I like, as you could tell, I mean, hello, that's only like
I know.
Yeah. 4 of the 23 bookcases I have in this apartment. And then I have like giant stacks of to read piles. I like physical books because I'm staring at a computer all day. I don't want to also read on a computer. And hey, if you read on a computer or have audiobooks, that's important too. I just know I can't do audiobooks because my mind will wander.
No, I cannot 100%. Audiobooks are, if people are performing, I can listen to audiobooks.
Yeah.
If it's like a lot of different voices and set design and all that stuff, it's fine.
Sure.
I love that. And I can listen to podcasts, but for some reason, listening to fiction is harder for me. If I put it on like 1.25, I can listen to it, but I have to speed it up quite a bit.
Yeah. And I just can't do that. So like my dyslexia is also complicated by ADHD situations. So it's like, I just can't, I get distracted when it's audio only. So I love that physical bookstores and also niche bookstores. There's a lot of horror bookstores, a lot of murder mystery bookstores. There's a lot of artsy bookstores that only cater to certain kinds of genres. Romance bookstores, as we know, Ripped Bodice. They opened up. They have an LA and a New York store now, and there's
a science fiction and fantasy one in San Diego that's really good. I can't remember the name of it.
There's a horror and sci-fi fantasy one called Wicked Grounds in San Francisco. Like there's so many different ones.
There's one in LA too. There's a horror one in the Valley. So
yeah. And I go to that one a lot. So it's like, I'm glad that we can have bookstores and also friends of ours owning bookstores because that's the coolest thing. But this book is also one of these memoirs that, and your memoir does this too, where it reminds you it's good to be weird. Like your differences are what make you special and awesome, not something that you should be ashamed of. But also, Jenny's going through, she has anxiety issues. So I think it's relatable to a lot of us that have anxiety stuff going 100%. On.
Yeah.
And especially someone as famous as her now, that she's doing these book tours with giant audiences. And she still gets, even though it's a very friendly, supportive audience, she still gets anxiety.
Well, yeah. Stuff. Also, you should like her latest book. I actually I did like a virtual book tour because it was during COVID or at the very end of it, and she'd been going through a lot to deal with her depression.
Was this broken?
And
the book Broken?
Yeah, Broken. Yeah, which is a lot more. I don't know. It's like more grounded. It's still very funny, but it has a lot more heartache in it. And yeah. I have to say that. Just the depth of her feeling and the anxiety I associate with a lot, feeling like an outsider I associate with a lot, but also it's so funny. Her observations of people, the turn of phrase, the way she puts words together. It's like, I was just like, oh, wow, I wish I could be like this woman because she is fantastic.
What was some of your favorite parts of the book?
Oh my God. I did. Let's see. Well, you go while I look up what I highlighted in the Kindle.
Yeah, so I would say obviously the taxidermy. Obviously, when she's talking about Victor, I forgot that Victor, her husband, and they are definitely a pair. They are definitely like meant for each other. They support each other. But he's a Republican, kind of a conservative Republican dude. When they met, and I was like, oh crap, I forgot about that, which is.
I know, and it's interesting. Like, I don't know if I could do that, but they work together so well. It's wild. Okay, there was the whole story there was the whole little part of the story where she was like, yeah, my uncle murdered my great uncle murdered my great aunt with a nail to the back of her head and buried the body. And then my family, when they found out about it 20 years later, dug up her body to see if there was a nail in her head after the guy was dead. I was like, what?
Right?
We're talking real country.
Yeah.
And I say that as a person from Alabama.
And also, well, I'm from Kansas. So it's like, it's like burying your family. It's like Wednesday Addams Family Rules, right? It's the family plot, which is, I don't think done anymore, but like back a while ago, you could bury, depending on your state law. Every state has different laws about how you can dispose of dead bodies with cemeteries. But when you're in a rural area, they kind of let you have it in your own, like if you have a ranch or a farm, you can have not necessarily like a trailer park, but I feel like if you own the land and it's a lot of land and there's not a close by cemetery, you can, as long as you go through the proper embalming rules, though now with composting and burial, I think that's changed, but you can, so that was standard. But the fact that they did their own exhumation and dug her up to see is a different level of true crime fandom and true crime in real life that I was kind of impressed by. Like I was like, and this is before the true crime like phenomenon happened.
No, she precedes a lot of different genres.
Yeah. So I was like, but also to have a sense of humor about it. And she's also very good at the very beginning of the book saying, look, if you're easily offended, you might get easily offended by this book because there's lots of big, serious topics. But
the one where she took too many laxatives and almost pooped herself. That whole
we've all been there.
I did that this morning. It wasn't a laxative, to be clear, and I'm going to just deny it, whatever. I went on vacation and I forgot my vitamins and I take magnesium because it helps my anxiety. It also helps your sleep. Good for sleep. It's overall very great. It's been approved by all of my medical professionals and the naturopath, like all the people who are involved. Like it's okay. So I didn't take it. So then I got real. Things didn't work over the weekend the way I would like them to. And so last night I took them with my dinner after I got home. And then I drove my kid to school and I was like, oh, get out of the car. And I made it home, but it was a very close call. And so I literally flashed back to that story because why did I even tell this story? I'm sorry.
No, I'll tell you the same thing. I treat laxatives like I treat hallucinogenic mushrooms. You have to wait for them to work on the first dose. You cannot get impatient and take more.
She did like 3 or 4, and then she took Pepto-Bismol because she was pooping so much.
Yeah. So like I am of the Gen X era of I can't take regular vitamins. They have to be in the shape of Flintstones characters. So almost all of my vitamins are all of them are gummies. So and I don't mean like none of the pot gummies. I mean just like the Ollie or there's a Nature's Way has a bunch.
So they take the gummy vitamins, although they're not.
Yeah, so I take gummy vitamins for skin and hair / teeth. So that's like biotin, and then I take one for sleep and stress. I take one for a women's multi, and then I take one for iron because I'm very anemic. But I also have fruity flavored chewable laxatives because ADHD medication can stop you up.
I think that's what my Lexapro does that. That's why I have to be on the magnesium.
So my Vyvanse basically makes it's like a little tiny beaver has shut down the river of excrement. And so I have to like have a little dam breaker. I know it's very visual.
It's a pickaxe. It's like going mining in Stardew.
But because I also have constant brain fog, I forget when I take my vitamins. So now I have a chart and I check things off because the pill box was not helping. Because I was just like, wait, did I remember to fill the pill box? So like I just have to have like a little kid chore chart with stars so I know what I took that day. Because sometimes I have to take stuff with food or without food, or I have to take stuff during the day or during the evening. Like I can't just take them all at once in some big toxic hazmat vitamin pill soup. Like I have to like spread them out. But if I forget to take and I don't take laxatives every day, but I'll like take one if things aren't working, and I will forget. And then I'll be like, oh, did I take it? I'll just take one. and then I'll just take another one. And luckily I work from home and I'm a hermit. But if I'm like going out, like to the mall or to a movie or to dinner, it turns into that moment during Mean Girls when they're like revealing mean things, you know, when they have the assembly and she's like, and everyone's apologizing to each other. And one of the mean girls is like, I'm sorry, I told everyone that you had explosive diarrhea in the middle of Barnes and Noble. Like that's where I'm like, that's where I don't want to have explosive diarrhea in a bookstore, because that's a quiet environment. Like if it was like at a roller derby rally or a hockey game, that's a little different. But like when it's quiet, it's like church or something. Like I don't want to do that. So I get it. So what I love about this book, and that's the title of the book, Let's Pretend This Never Happened. It's about embracing the most embarrassing things that have ever happened to you, and knowing that makes you who you are today. It makes you stronger. It makes you stranger. It makes you funnier. It makes you have great stories for parties. Like it shapes who you are. So like, and also it bonds us together. So like, you know I've had multitudes, embarrassing shit happens to me weekly, if not daily. So like, I like the fact that there's cool people like Jenny who's had really crazy stuff happen, and then she documents it all in such a funny, hilarious way, very much like other humorists like David Sedaris or Maria Bamford, who we read
for sure.
memoir.
They're just hilarious.
Oh my God, so great. And I love that, because that reminds us, hey, look, literally not all of us have our shit together, literally, in this moment. So it's like, I love this book for that, because it really, it makes her more, I mean, she's always been human, but it's just one of those things where it reminds us to laugh at the more embarrassing things that have happened, because we all have embarrassing things that happen. We're human.
Yeah.
Humans are embarrassing.
Life is embarrassing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, no, I highly recommend this book. If you have not read the book, read it and then read all of her books. They're all incredible. They're laugh out loud funny. Another one of the stories I loved was sadly about her dead pug.
Oh, yeah.
Because my friend Ryko, I helped him dispose of his passed away French bulldog. So like, I was like there with her in that. Blog? Does Jenny still blog?
Oh yeah, she does what everyone does now, which is what, Substack stuff.
Oh, I didn't know she did. I gotta follow her on Substack.
Yeah, so she has a newsletter she puts out. She also posts. I mean, she's still, like, you can find her on Facebook. I don't know if she's still on X. I mean, I'm still on X. I'm like, I treat Twitter like the Titanic. I'm still on LiveJournal. I'm still
leaving Twitter, because I worked really hard for that following, and there could be some really awesome fans who are still there, and that's where they use to. Also, if you leave an echo, you just increasing the echo chamber for everybody on that platform, you know?
Yeah, and I've been like, I post regularly. I mean, I post on a lot of other platforms that just started that may or may not survive, like Hive.
I always stream. I gotta tell you, Blue Sky I'm on, and it feels more like I love it, but it's not a platform for me to advertise what I'm doing. Do you know what I'm saying? It's more
like Blue, they all have their different they have their different pros and cons. Like I like Threads. I really
like Threads. Also, all of them are pay to play. Like if I want really people to see something I do, it is impossible to get the people that follow me to be able to see it.
Well, it's also, you'll see it's night and day, because I'm so desensitized to advertising now and I pay the most minimum amount for my blue tick on Twitter. So I'm still paying something, and I said I wouldn't, but I kind of was like, you know what, if it gets rid of some of the ads, I'll do it. Yeah. But there's still a ton of ads, even at the most basic pay rate that you can do. And when you're on Blue Sky and Threads, you're like, oh, there's no ads here. That's like what streaming was before. All the streaming sites are like, now we're putting ads and everything. You have to pay extra to take them out. So
yeah,
it's like, HBO in the 80s where you're like, oh, this is nice. Like it's not London dated with, and also the stuff I watch on YouTube. Can I tell you my pre-roll ads that I have to go through? Because I watch so much true crime and I watch so many gamer videos that it thinks I'm a bro. So I get all these like bro-y ads and like gun holster ads, and don't be a real man, don't wear layers, wear this like thermal jacket, and how to pick up women. And I mean, I am bi, so I guess that's sort of helpful, but it's just like, what?
I only get Verbo.
Do you really?
Only. That's it. It's like I got nothing else in my life.
I get a
but
lot of
Virgo.
conspiracy ads. There was one that came up this week that was all about baby oil and P. Diddy. I'm like, well, this is an interesting ad for baby oil. I'm not watching
Oh
it all the way
God.
through. Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
Didn't
Some
he
of
have
them
like
are like,
1,000 containers of baby oil when they arrested him as evidence?
yeah, then there's like this conspiracy theory that all the people that have died around him from pneumonia is actually from
I've
baby oil
seen.
poisoning, but you have to inhale a lot of baby oil fumes. Like I used to wear latex at raves, and the only way you get that on and off is with baby oil. I'm still alive. You don't, it's like if you inhale it like Coke or something, maybe you'll die,
If
but
you're
you won't.
like, if you're like swallowing it a lot, but
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, but even the most prolific fetishist is
I
not
will
going to.
say that I went down the conspiracy, the puff conspiracy thing, and on TikTok, it is strong. It is strong.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, the documentaries I'm seeing pop up are interesting. The new John Bonet documentary was a little disturbing. That's on Netflix.
Oh, really?
I'm
Why?
invested in that personally because it happened in Boulder when I was there, and I knew the
What
family
they
kind
always
of.
were saying it was the brother, right? But
Yeah, it was.
no.
I think it was. I think what happened, it was an accident. They were probably just playing rough, and he probably pushed her, and she hit her head on the back of something sharp and died. And they should have just gone with it, but I think the family probably didn't want to ruin Burke's life. And so they came up with this elaborate story, and then it just snowballed into what it became. And by the time it became that, they couldn't really backpedal. So I think that's what happened. But this new series is like, oh no, she was, it gives much more graphic detail that I was like, well, I don't know. And then they interview
No,
someone
thank
who
you.
who basically says he did it, but you could tell he's a mentally warped person that just wants attention.
Yeah,
So it's
no.
like, and they're kind of exploiting that. So I was like, I
No,
don't,
that's horrible.
yeah,
No,
I don't want
no. I don't I mean, I'm really anti-true crime. I really don't like exploiting people's
I do
deaths
love
for
con artists though. So I
It's
love the
fine. I'm
one,
not
the
gonna judge
anatomy.
you. You do you. I don't really like crime anyway, but I just feel, especially around children,
Oh yeah, no, of
um,
course, of
it's
course.
just
No, no,
really
no.
bad. But
You don't
again,
have to like it. You don't have to
you
like
love
it.
it. I don't care.
Well, no, I'm a murder mystery fan. So like the sad things, true crime stuff, the people that are in true crime, the people that are criminals are never going to be as smart or as intelligent or as witty or creative as fiction.
Yeah.
But and also a lot of women watch it for like ways to see red flags. The problem is a lot of those red flags, if you're in a relationship, it's just hard to get out of an abusive relationship. There's not a lot of stranger danger serial killer stuff statistically. It's mostly people will hurt you. It's not
100%. 100%.
so, but I do appreciate that now people are using more of a sensitivity filter, saying, let's not make this about the serial killers. Like, let's not make them into celebrities. Let's talk more about the victims and celebrating their lives and really giving them justice. That's more my angle, but I really did love Anatomy of Lies, which was about a showrunner of Grey's Anatomy that lied to everyone about everything, including faking cancer. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that
Oh,
one,
yeah, there was that one that was that about the
it's not
the
Scamanda.
screenwriter? Yes, that
Yeah,
was
that's the
wild.
screenwriter. Yeah. So I was like, oh, that's
Oh.
bizarre. Because also she was trying to get a writer position on Grey's Anatomy.
It
Somebody
was
had cancer.
wild. I know
Yeah.
people who knew her directly, and they were just,
Me
I mean,
too.
what do
Me
you do?
too.
What do you
Yeah.
do? You just
So
believe somebody. You're not gonna be like, "Oh, that's"
yeah. So those are
wild.
fascinating just because of the human psyche element. Not
Yeah.
I don't like very vicious, like just like with horror, I don't like slashers. I like paranormal weird creature feature stuff. I'm not a big
Yeah.
fan of like things that could actually happen because I would just watch the news if I want to be scared. I don't need to
Well,
I
I
don't
for
want to do
some
that.
reason I for some reason subscribe to this thing called The Patch or something. It's like a local LA news thing. And like
Uh-huh.
it's the most sensational, like every headline, 9-year-old kills brother with a gun.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Fire on the 101. And I only want it for like the traffic, but like it's always rabid squirrel kills teacher in Northern
Funny.
California. And like,
Yeah.
what is this place?
Yeah, it's like New York Post headlines. We used to always make fun of
Yes.
them as being
Yes.
over the top and
Yes.
very scandalous. And I don't know. I now know that I can binge watch horror, but then I have to watch a bunch of SpongeBob to kind of like palate cleanse, or I need
Yeah.
to like watch something like Recess Therapy, which is my favorite YouTube channel of little kids giving advice to adults on how to be better adults. And I love recess therapy. I don't have kids, but I like watching it because it's like, oh, that's a good palate cleanser. So when I'm really stoked in some like crazy horror thing, and I just watched a horror film that's like really disturbing, I have other things that like bring me back down to reality. Yeah. So I don't like, I don't recommend watching the movie The Substance right before you go to bed.
Yeah.
That's a bad plan. Don't do that. Like, watch something lighthearted before you go to bed. Even like one of those Hallmark Christmas movies.
Well, I don't watch stuff before I go to bed. I want to be honest with you. I do.
Yeah, you're healthy. You're a healthy individual.
Yeah, I don't know what
what's
to say.
What's your nighttime routine? Do you read a book before bed to
I read a book. Yeah,
okay.
or okay, so my healthiest routine is to turn off all the lights about an hour or very, very few lights. I read a book to my daughter. I lay there for at least 30 minutes before she goes to bed. I'm almost asleep at that point. I have everything in darkness as I go either take a warm bath or a shower, or I just go straight into bed. The problem is if I wake myself up with a book, I don't sleep as well.
Yeah.
But I want to read. So inevitably I will have it as dark as possible. I'll read a little book. And I do read on my phone, which I know is bad, but my lit RPG books are on Kindle Unlimited, and it's just like I'm eating the candy.
Kindle has an option to like have lower light.
I need to read. Well, I already asked all my relatives. I just want a color Kindle for my birthday for Christmas. So basically, I'm going to substitute that with a Kindle. So the less, you will mess up your circadian rhythm if you see any light at all at night. And unfortunately, it's inevitable, but I try to minimize it. That's what I try to do. I definitely don't watch TV.
I try to read a book or a comic before bed instead of TV. I stop looking at my computer or my phone usually 2 hours before bed. But I also I have extreme insomnia. I've always had that. So I get maybe 3 hours of sleep at night, and then I'll try to like you're not supposed to do this, but I'll catch up a little bit on the weekend with sleep. But I just have insomnia. My brain won't shut off. So it's just constant.
Have you tried quitting all caffeine? Because unfortunately that works.
So here's the fun thing. When you're ADHD, caffeine does not work on you like normal people. So it actually, I found this out. So the reason caffeine doesn't affect me, like keeping me up, is because it keeps me focused. It doesn't stop the chatter. It doesn't stop like brain, all that noise. It just keeps you more focused, but I don't get a buzz from it because I'm already naturally caffeinated. So I'm like already buzzed. So it doesn't do anything. That's why people who abuse Adderall and Vyvanse and ADHD pills that are like regularly brain, whatever, that's what helps them focus and study and speedy. But it's also, 1 molecule away from meth. So be careful because it's addictive. And that's also bad for your heart. So I'm on the highest level of Vyvanse you can take.
Wow.
To the point where I watched a medical drama the other night where someone was murdered with a dosage lower than mine. And they're like, yeah, you're not supposed to take this dosage. I'm like, okay, hold up. Because my heart rate doesn't speed up because of it. But if you're like a normal person, I guess it does. So anyway, also I get insomnia and I'll be like, well, if I'm up, might as well work on that Microsoft spreadsheet I'm supposed to have done in a couple days. So like I will do some work and then I'll feel sleepy and I'll go to sleep, but then I'll sleep and have a dream about a spreadsheet. And I cannot tell you how horrible it is to dream in Excel.
No, you don't want that. You don't want that. You do not want that.
In Excel I would rather dream about being pushed off a cliff over and over than dream about putting the wrong table number in Excel and then screwing up the whole document and then having to do it all over again, or having the wrong font and not being able to figure out why am I in this font? Why is Helvetica not? Yeah, it just Helvetica turns into hell. That's basically what it turns into. So like I do this thing now where I watch YouTube videos that have that weird thing where it's like, helps you fall asleep in 10 minutes. So it's either the rainy sound or it's the weird like bowl, the bowl, that thing.
Yeah.
I'll do that, or I'll do the like, here's your, your astral projection music for the night. Like I'll listen to that and that helps a little bit. But everybody has a different routine.
Everybody's got their own routine. You just have to try it out. And I know the best routine, but I'm not going to do it because it's the least fun routine. But I do have it in my head that when I do these things, it's a-okay.
Can Could I ask what book are we reading to the young one recently that you like?
She loves this, she loves graphic novels now. So she's
Yay!
into
Yeah.
graphic novels, and I was actually gonna do a video on that because she has 4 or 5 graphic novels she loves, and I wanted to recommend them.
What's her favorite
And
right now? What's the top one?
oh my god.
Please say Watchmen.
No. She reads, like, YA kind of spooky ones.
I
So
know, I
those
was joking. You're a good mom. You're not
there's
showing her
yeah,
stuff
no.
you didn't have yet. That's not age
There's one called
appropriate.
Ghost Story she really liked, and she loves this,
Does she like
one, and
Squirrel Girl?
I cannot remember the name of it. It's so good. It's about kind of a fake medieval city in our world, and it has like supernatural creatures, and she has a best friend who's a
Oh.
fairy. And Gumbling. What is
Oh,
Gumbling?
cool. Does she like cryptids? I feel like she's a cryptid fan.
Nell of Gumbling.
Oh
Nell
yeah,
of Gumbling, My Extremely Normal Fairy Tale Life, and we're reading the sequel to that because I found it at the
I would think
bookstore.
she would like Squirrel Girl, Big Paper Girls,
Yeah,
Princess
maybe
Jellyfish.
Princess Jellyfish, 100%. I think we
Yeah.
might have that. But yeah,
I mean, that's also a
she
great
likes a lot of
anime.
those.
Yeah,
I
mean,
get her
there's
the
good
thick,
anime and
the
manga
thick
too.
arty ones. I got
Yeah,
one called Anju and the Demons or something like that. Anyway,
sure.
so I'm gonna do a whole little list because I want people to support these.
Is she into like
mostly indie
any of the
publishers.
classic books too, like Beverly Cleary, like Ramona the Brave, or any of that?
No, she doesn't like chapter books yet. She gets
Okay.
overwhelmed by the text.
That's okay.
So, she's
I
almost
was
8. She'll get there.
at that age, I was a big Pippi Longstockings fan.
Yeah.
I was a big Beverly Cleary, like Ramona the Brave. I loved Ralph and the Motorcycle.
Oh,
Ralph
yeah.
and the Mouse. And also any Judy Blume stuff that was probably age appropriate. And then my mom being a librarian and my grandmother being a librarian meant I got so many books. I got all the like old retired highlights magazines, so I would read all of those. And then and all the Snoopy comics, all the Warner Brothers Bugs Bunny comics, because in my era, I sound like Grandpa Simpson sometimes when I say this.
My time.
In the 1900s when I was a child, comics were not like they are now. So obviously no computers, but libraries didn't have them either. The only way you could buy comics were 3 in a pack at Woolworths, which is like Walgreens, or like a corner store, like a bodega. But in farm community, it's like that's where you go to get your hammers. It'll be like Ace Hardware, but then there's like a kids section of coloring books, activity. Like when you go to the gas station on a family trip and there's like the activity books and the coloring books, like that's where you would find comics, but they were always like Bugs Bunny comics. There would be some like Spider-Man, Superman, Batman stuff. I always got Wonder Woman. I always got Woody Woodpecker, Daffy Duck, because I thought they were sarcastic animals and I love that. Also, like, that's what we had. So we didn't have this huge amount of choice that you do now. And I think now people are realizing you can have really entertaining kids content that's also entertaining for the adults that have to read it to them. So at least it's not like mind-numbing, like Teletubbies level, Barney level.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, she doesn't into that anyway. She's not really into Disney either. I'm going to do a list and I'm going to put in my newsletter.
Okay.
Also, I got to go get her at school. So I'm going to wrap it up. And so you guys, thank you so much for attending our book club. The book club's going on ice for a little bit, but we will be doing our monthly hangout. Just doing this probably at the end or a beginning of one of my streams around Body's schedule because, again, I can't stream +5, but she sometimes finishes work early. So
I mean, I have half days on Fridays. Wednesdays are pretty open. So just let me know. We'll figure it out.
For sure. That's great. I stream on Mondays and Fridays, so we could do Bonnie Chat on Fridays.
That'd be perfect. Yeah.
So we will regroup. And other than that, happy holidays to everybody. I will see everybody on my charity stream on Tuesday the 10th, and we'll talk to Bonnie in January. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Happy holidays.